Bit of a different video today, guys, so we're going to have a look at delivery driver stories where they didn't go so good or something went wrong or the driver just got really frustrated with the whole process. We're going to run through some things I found on the internet from my favorite country in the world where nothing seems to ever go right. From America, of course. I love the country, but everything just seems to go wrong for delivery drivers over there. Nothing seems to go right, ever. So dudes and dudettes, my name's Chris, and today we're going to have a look at a couple of problems that some delivery drivers have had and decided to share on the internet. So Sean's posted up, had an Arby's manager lose it at me today because I asked for my order. Apparently us Dashers are just a super inconvenience to the establishment. Says the establishment that hasn't seen any business in my area until Doordash came along, so you're welcome for that. Was told I'm not a real person. Was told I'm not a paying customer. I swallowed my tongue and let her belittle me. Has something like this ever happened to anyone else? I bitch about nothing and this has me feeling some sort of way. Seems like most of the restaurants see Dashers in my area as an inconvenience. How's your experience? I'm curious to know if you feel like your market is being destroyed by the restaurants that are in it. Oof, this kind of hurts. Poor Sean. So he's had a manager at a restaurant blow up at him. I don't know what happened to kind of trigger that conversation. He says he asked for the order and then things just kind of went to shit. But even still, yeah, sure, you're not a paying customer, but you're a contractor with that business at that point. Imagine the manager screaming her head off at the delivery driver bringing all the food into the Arby's. There's no difference from you taking the food out of the Arby's to the customer. You're doing the same role, just one's coming in, one's going out. So I think it's a little bit unprofessional and uncalled for from that manager to especially say you're not a real person. You're not a real boy. Well, what is he? Pinocchio? Make up your mind, manager. Look, I understand that restaurants get under the pump sometimes, especially when they're falling behind on delivery orders. And, you know, sometimes Dashers and stuff can be frustrated a little bit and they're like, where's my order? But even still, there's no reason to blow up at a delivery driver. Evans posted up, had to contact Dasher support for the first time today. I started DoorDash about a week ago. I accepted an order to a barbecue place for $6 and 3 miles, thinking it'd be a simple order. I get to the apartment complex and there's a gate that needs a code to open. My only instructions given was to leave at the door. So I tried texting and calling her to ask for the code, but someone else ended up leaving, which opened the gate, so I was able to bypass that. There's about 10 to 12 different apartment buildings in this complex, and the customers didn't include which building, just the apartment number. So I tried calling her twice and texting her multiple times to ask what building it was. Silence! She was declining calls and ignoring my texts. They told me I did everything I was supposed to do and just find a place to leave it on the property, take a pic and let the customer know. So I do just that. I text her letting her know I left it in the front of the leasing office. Tell me why. She finally responds and says, "That's not my apartment. I'm going to report you for stealing my food." Like, girl, what? Thankfully though, I avoided the contract violation. Gated complexes, they suck, especially when you don't have the gate code and you're just out the front, you're like, yep, can someone please let me in? If they don't pick up and they don't reply to text, it leaves drivers in a pretty precarious situation. It's like, well, what do you do? Where's a safe place to leave this? Because I cannot get in. And 100% comes down to the customer at this point. If you live in a gated community and you don't give a gate code because, I don't want to just give it out to anyone, I don't want anyone just coming in, cool, get off your ass, get to the gate, meet the driver there. You can track the driver on the map, you can see when they're getting close, and then when they do get there, just be there ready to take the food. Super, super simple. Otherwise for the customer, if you have this problem time after time after time, which I'm sure they do, they just need to update their delivery instructions with the gate code. That's all they need to do, and it stops frustration like what this poor driver's gone through. CJ has put up, anybody ever do a shop order and choose a customer approved substitution just for them to call you when you're 3 minutes from their house and cuss you out because that's apparently not what they wanted? Told her I'd call support, which they told me to proceed with the delivery and she can get a refund. I pulled up to her house and she's waiting for me at the porch saying she's not going to accept the order and she's going to call DoorDash and have me reprimanded for not doing my job correctly. After a few minutes of back and forth and escalation, I literally dropped the bag at her feet and told her to have a great night. Sad part is, I was on the way home when her order popped up. $15 for 3 items, 2.7 mile drive. I knew it was too good to be true. So this is a tricky one, and I feel bad for CJ on this because you do your best to match the items, or if the items aren't available, you mark them as unavailable and you move through. And if a customer wants to be fussy about it, it's like, well, why? Why don't you want to accept it? Most of your items are there that you wanted to pay for. Why don't you want to take them items at least? And they're like, well, you got the wrong brand. But the thing is, the approved substitutions, they're coming through from the customer. The customer's approving them on the American updated app. For those in Australia watching, there will be an update coming through eventually, and there's pre-approved substitutions that say if a banana's unavailable, they'll have 3 or 4 other things you can select that the customer said, I'm happy to take this instead. So if that's the case and the customer's actually selected what they want, and they're like, oh, you know what, I've changed my mind, tough shit. Accept your order. Don't be a pain in the ass to the driver. I don't know how heated the conversation got between CJ and the customer, but I think CJ did the right thing here by leaving it, just saying, have a good night, and then moving on from there. There's only so much you can do with a Karen at the doorstep. Melissa's got, oh my God, I just had an order with instructions to go through the gate to the backyard and hand orders to the guy at the studio. He said in the instructions that if not done, then 1 star 100%. Okay, so I messaged and said, we do not go in the backyard, so he can meet me at the gate. No answer. I get there and call. No answer. I call DD, told them what the customer instructions were, and they said, do not go in the backyard and don't worry about the 1 star and to leave it at the front door. So I did and ended my shift. Not today, Satan. Not today. Yep, Melissa's done the right thing here, 100%. If you don't feel comfortable going to a customer's backyard, don't do it. It can be so sketchy sometimes. I think in one of my ride-along videos, I literally had a nudist ordering. I had to go into the backyard, down the side, and it was clear instructions that he would probably be nude, and ugh. Yeah, no, so not a cool situation. Ideally, you want to be within street view. You want to be able to enter the property and be in a safe location for it. You don't want to be going down into backyards, around little corners, and it's just a safety thing for drivers because some people out there, they're just fucked in the head, and you're going to come across them occasionally. So you don't want to put yourself in a weird situation where weird shit could happen. So Larry's posted up, it seems like a setup. Customer messages are saying, hi, how are you? Could you stop the store and grab a pack of cigars for me? Swisher Sweets or Silver is fine. Also some I just got in the tub. The door will be unlocked. Could you place it on the inside for me, please? Then take the photo for Doordash. By the store. Could you stop by the... Jesus, okay. What is this? Silence of the Lambs? He puts the cigar in the basket or else it gets the hose again. No, you never go inside a customer's house, especially if they're like, oh, I'm in the bathtub. Can you please put the cigars downstairs for me? So sketchy and seedy. What's the bet is like some dirty old cunt and he's just hoping for a female driver to come in so he can come downstairs and noodle something and flash them. So sketchy. Never go inside a customer's house because you could end up just rubbing the lotion on your skin or else it gets the hose again. Danielle's put up, freaking Carl, the guy got in his truck and drove to the other side of the complex, saw me and pressed his remote to let me in, never got out of his truck, just drove back to his apartment with me behind him, lol. The ever so sacred gate code, lol. It's got some text here, her sending in, can I have the code please? Please, gate code, I'd appreciate it. Carl, I need to get going. So she's sending in messages to the customer and Carl has got off his ass. He says, oh God, my food's here. Hops in his truck, reverses his truck out, drives out to the gate, hits the remote buzzer code, and then just drives back. I feel bad for Danielle, because like it would have been super easy if he just hopped out of his truck and said, yep, thank you for the food, and did the handover. But no, because Carl is like, if I had to get off my couch and then hop in my car and drive, well, you're going to have to drive back to my house for me, because I put in the effort to get to this point. I don't get customers like this, to be honest. If you've already made the effort to get out to the gate, why not just hop out of your car and then take the food and drive back yourself? Super weird, super lazy. How dare you, Carl? But that's all the stories we're going to cover across for today, guys. Now, if you have any weird, wacky, or just downright goofy stories, send them in. I'm going to put an email up on the screen. I'll have a read through them, and then I'll put them together in another video later on. Otherwise, just leave the stories down below in the comments, and I'll have a read through them. But if you did like this content, make sure you smash the like and subscribe button. Alternatively, if you have a mate that you think needs to see this, make sure you share this video across to them or any groups that they're in. But that's all for today, guys, and until next time, peace out.